and thank you so much for joining me for some Saturday night crafting. Tonight is going to be very slightly different. So if you're new to my channel, normally my videos are voiced over. It is very, very rare that I do a crafting video where you're going to hear me and see me talking. You'll hear noises from what I'm doing. Bits that I can speed up, I will speed up, but normally I do a voiceover. So apologies if this is not your type of video. Please don't feel you need to watch it. But I wanted to do this just so that I could remember all the little pointers that I was learning along the way doing the project we're going to do tonight. Now tonight is perfect for simple, relaxed crafting, gifts for people, using up those little irritating stamps that you've got floating around. This is great for that, and this is going to be a craft that you can just do in the background alongside of other projects that you might be working on. This is something you could do while watching telly. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this printer paper and we are going to turn it into personalized little memo notepads. And I'm going to share with you how you can go ahead and do this. Every page can be different. In mine, they are all the same. I have stamped every single one of them. We get these gorgeous little memo pads that take minutes to make and are just stunning and a great little gift. These are all made completely from scratch. I have used recycled boards as my backs. I have used printer paper to keep costs down as well, and I'm going to share with you how we can make those. So for this project I'm using printer paper. This is 100 GSM. So you can see here it's 100 GSM. I don't know what that would be in the version that North America uses. I can't quite remember, but this is slightly thicker than normal. So normal is 80 and I've bought some 100, and the reason I've done that is that when I'm stamping, if my pages don't line up great, I'm not going to see through the paper to see that the stamping's not lined up underneath. It kind of masks that a bit more, and then on the back side it's not soaking through the paper quite so much, if that makes sense. So I'm using 100 GSM paper, but use whatever you've got in your house. For this project we will need 5 sheets per book. This will make 20 sheet booklets. You can do as many as you like. I like 5 because I can cut all 5 in one go on my paper trimmer, and then that saves me lots of time as well. So we're going to use 5 sheets of printer paper. You can use whatever stamps you've got in your stash. I'm going to use these stamps today. They are photopolymer stamps. That's why I love Creative Expressions Dirty Gertie, which is part of the Pretty Gets Gritty company. They are all photopolymer, so they're really nice, good quality stamps that I can use any ink on, and they work really well. These are new in my stash and I absolutely love them. So this one's quite funny. It's got some quite funny sentiments, so we're going to use that as our sort of little title. And I'm going to use these as sort of my decorative stamps. These two I've basically used on all my notepads, and they're actually going to be teacher's gifts, so I'm going to give them away at the end of the year. I'm getting started ahead of the time because I always forget and leave it to last minute, and then I don't have anything for the teachers. So these are teacher gifts. Any other kind of stamps that have little sort of sayings on them will work great. So, you know, you've got like enjoy your special day, could work. Have a nice day definitely works. You could put that at the top. These are just little memo pads for like grocery lists, just jotting down things. Like you've got believe in yourself, happiness makes your heart sing. So just have a look through your stamps. You will find something in there. I will of course link everything I used today down in the description box below for you. Dirty Gertie and Pretty Gets Gritty have a discount code for anyone who buys anything via my discount code, which is in the description box. So if you want anything from them, make sure to use the discount code because it will get you some money off. I'm also using this glue holder here today. This is new in my stash. My friend Zoe actually makes them with her husband. They have a little family run wood business, and she gave me this the last time I saw her. And they just kind of, it slides apart like that. You just get these 2 pieces and then you just slide it together when you get it, and it makes a little glue stand. It is so clever. She has given me a link for these as well because they're up on their Etsy shop. Postage is really dirt cheap. They are, I believe, £5 each or 2 for 8, which is a cracking bargain. But I'm using that today because I'm keeping my glue facing down. This has currently been on my desk for at least a month. And I love it. My glue is always ready to go. So having something like this is quite handy, but I thought I'd share that with you because you'll see it in the video. And so if you want to know about it, it's in the description box for you. I'm going to use a stamp platform purely because it makes doing this project really quick and easy. Now I know in America you struggle with stamp platforms, and I think Canada as well, because the Misty kind of has like a monopoly on stamp platforms, but I believe you can order this through Craftstash in the UK, and I think they ship it to America as well. So I'll put the links down there for you if you don't have a stamp platform and want a really good one that works really well and is quite affordable. I'm going to also use some inks today. I'm primarily using these 3 inks, so I will use the VersaFine Onyx Black on everything, the best black ink pad you could own. I'm also going to use, probably going to use my metallics ink pads from scrapbook.com. I'm really impressed with these. They are really good fun. Got this one here which is drying, and I've used the metallic rose gold on the top. I'll show you that in a minute when it's all dry. I'm also using VersaFine Clair. I just really love these pigment inks. They're really, really beautiful in color, so I'm going to use some of those. And last but not least, you need some sort of clips. So I have these ones which are from Alina Craft on AliExpress. They're just little squeezy clips. I've also got a bulldog ring clip. I do have more of these, but I have no idea where I put them. You just need to be careful they're not too pinchy because you will get little dents in the top if you're bothered about the dents. These leave very minimal marks because they're very lightweight. They pinch it enough to clip the paper together, but not enough to overly dent it. Now going back to glue, I'm going to use the Nuvo Deluxe glue, but I did do a big trial run of various glues. So this is Aleene's tacky glue, which works really great. So I'll pull it from the back, and it pulls off just absolutely fine. So if you've got Aleene's tacky glue, that works really well. It gives a really nice release when you pull the sheets off. That works. This one here was the Tonic Craft tacky glue. This also works fairly well. I didn't dab this one down quite as much, so it's sticking a little bit, but this one does work. You can see it pulls off. Then I have also got Nuvo drops. So if you're feeling like you want some bling in your life and you want your edge to be a bit sparkly and amazing, then you can use Nuvo. I did pull a few sheets off just to see if it would stick. I thought because it dries quite hard, it wouldn't pull off, but it does pull off a dream. It's just very difficult to get nice and flat because Nuvo is designed to be domed and rounded and keep its dimension. So it is really difficult to get a flat bit of glue, but if you want some bling in your life, it works beautifully. It peels off lovely jubbly. So you can use Nuvo drops as well if that's what you've got. I've heard scrapbook.com's version is basically the exact same as Nuvo, so if you got those, that will work. I've ordered some, so I'm really excited for them to come and try them out. My all-time favorite is my all-time favorite glue. I don't know if you can still get this and where you get it from. I'll link scrapbook.com down below because I know they sell it, but I tend to, when I see it, buy it in bulk. So this is my favorite all-time glue. This peels beautifully. Again, I'll do it off the back just because I wrote Nuvo on the front, and it peels just like any notepad would. This is absolutely a dream for me. So lots of different glues you can use. Have a look through your stash. Do a trial one like I did. I just glued a bunch of papers together. I don't even have the backing glued on. I just glued my 20 sheets together just to see how that glue would react and how it would set. And I will share with you how you get that on there beautifully and evenly, and it takes 2 seconds. I forgot to mention you will need a paper trimmer as well. This is the one that I love the most. This is sold in a lot of shops around the world. Just have a look. If it's this shape, looks like this, it will be the same make. It's just branded differently. Stampin' Up has it. Hobbycraft possibly still has it. Craftstash have it as their creative range. Scrapbook.com has it as well. I will link scrapbook.com and Craftstash down below, but this is my go-to trimmer. This is the trimmer to work with. You can get blades and the paper trimmer from Craftelier as well. They also sell it. It's a really great trimmer, and this trimmer here, if you've got one like this, you should be able to do the same thing as me, and you should be able to cut all 5 sheets at the same time in one go. Now, just to point out as well, this is why I wanted to do a little bit of a chitty chatty night, because I'll remember all the little things along the way. Make sure you've got a new blade on. When you're dealing with printer paper and copy paper, because it is so thin, you will find that it does not cut very well, it'll kind of ruffle the edges of your paper. So make sure you've got a nice fresh blade in there. You can always take it out and put back in your old blade if you want to make sure you get the most life out of your last blade. But for cutting printer paper, copy paper, please make sure you've got a new blade in there. If you've got a guillotine, they are self-sharpening and you shouldn't need to worry about anything. Now I know depending on where you live in the world, your paper will be a different size to me. So I have got the standard British paper, which measurements obviously I can't remember, but all you are going to do, regardless of your paper size, is you are going to cut it exactly in half and exactly in half again. So we're going to get started with our stamping, and I'm going to share with you just a couple and then I will do all the rest off screen. So I'm going to get started with my stamp platform. In my stamp platform I've got this sort of slightly tacky back. This is just a Cricut cutting mat, but an unbranded one. So I just buy them from Amazon, really cheap and cheerful. They just have grid lines on them, which is really helpful. And I cut them to fit my stamp platform. So you can see here, it goes to 8 inches and then it just kind of cuts off. I've just chopped it down just for the fact that it's got grid lines. So I don't use it for anything else other than that. And the fact that it's obviously got a bit of tack to it. So I don't have to worry really about using my magnets on this project because I've got that slight tackiness to the backing. So for mine, I'm going to go right in that top corner so I can have it be the exact same on every single bit of paper. So I'm always going to line it up right in that top corner. I don't have to then worry about placement of my stamps, and I can just crack these out really quickly. So I'm going to get started with the placement of my stamps. For this one, I'm going to use tomorrow, which is defined as the best time to do everything you had planned for today. Now most of mine I wanted lots of different colors, like this one here, which meant then that I did all of these twice over. So I did my first one, I did the flower, the swirly, and then the sentiment bit, and then on the second round I did the leaves so I could get them nice and close to the flower, and the butterfly that could be nice and close to swirly. And then that way it's much easier to ink up your stamps when you're doing it a second time round. And it really only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to do 20 sheets of paper. So it really doesn't take long at all. And if you're sat there watching a TV show, you can be quite quick, especially with the stamp platform, because you're just sticking one in, stamping, taking it out, put the next one in. Very quick, very easy to do. So I'm going to start with a little flowery detail down here, my sentiment, which are going to be in 2 different colors. Then I'm going to come in with a little swirly at the top in the metallic, maybe a little butterfly at the top. So let's get started. Quick little top tip, I keep my ink pads upside down and I don't push the lid on, I just kind of plop it down, and then that way I can just grab it and stamp really quick and easy. Okay, I am all done. I have done my first set of stamping on all my pages, and I actually timed myself just so I could see how long it was. It took me 7 minutes, so in less than 15 minutes you can do all your stamping and be done with your preparation for your little notelet. So let's get started on the second lot of stamping. Those are all done. That took a few minutes to do. I did have to do the metallic ones twice. I just had to ink it twice just because to get that real good shine, which is hard to get on camera, I just needed to add it twice, but that only took me a few seconds more to do. So I'm really pleased with how these ones turned out. I'm going to share with you now how we can make the backing board and how we can put it all together. So a really big top tip if you want some chipboard for projects like this, if you need them for bookmaking, anything like that, do not forget your local picture framers. I worked at a picture framers in town for about 2.5 years, and we dealt with mount board, which is this stuff here. And we dealt with this every single day, and we had hordes of offcuts that ended up in the recycling if nobody wanted them for schools or crafty projects. So check out your local picture framers, ask them if they've got any offcuts you could have, and they make perfect backing boards. White on one side, colored on the other, or both, sometimes white. You can get metallic ones as well. It's like a gold mine. So I have a never-ending stock of this kind of stuff because I'm still very good friends with the owner of the company, and I pick up loads all the time from him. So check out your local picture framers, ask for any spare backing board that they might have, offer to make a donation towards it. Probably 9 times out of 10 you can get some of this stuff for free, because it's just going to go in the recycling anyways. Other way to get chipboard, I finished off my Arteza watercolor pad, and I've got a nice big chipboard here on the back. So you just peel off that, and then you've got some chipboard that you could use as your backing as well. This is quite thick, but it doesn't matter how thick it is. I'll show you how you can cut it anyways. So we're going to bring in our handy dandy paper trimmer again. Now this is where, if you've got that old blade, put that old blade back on, because we don't want to wear down our nice fresh new blade by cutting into some chipboard. Just put on your old blade again, or if you've got a storage of old blades, this is the perfect time to use them. So we are going to line up our chipboard or a mount board to, again, exactly half of a sheet of A4 cardstock or paper. We're going to slice into it, pressing as firmly as you can. Obviously that's only going to cut part way through your board, right? So we've still got, it's really hard to get onto camera, but we've still got the other half. What I like to do is I like to just bend it and fold it over. Then I've got a crease line to work with on the other side. So what I'm going to do is stick that back in, line it up again exactly to the same number, and then my score line should also line up with the line on my cutting platform. Close it over, run my blade along, and that should be enough to cut you your line through that really thick chipboard. You might get a little bit of an edge like this. You can either just rub it and pull it off, because it's usually just excess, or you can come in with your craft knife and just gently trim along it. Okay, so now we are ready to glue all of this together, and it is so quick and simple and easy. I'm gonna get some of my clips ready. Just gonna have 2 of those, and then I'll use my big bulldog clip in the middle. I'm going to take an extra spare bit of paper. This is the same size, it's just one that I got ink on, so I didn't want to use it on a book. And I'm going to put that on the front. And the reason I'm doing that is if any glue spills down the front of it, I can just pull this off at the end and it's all clean and beautiful and very nice. So what we're going to do is take our paper pad, turn it upside down, and give it a gentle tap on your desk. Put your little board behind it and just tap it down so it's all beautifully even on this edge. Then we can come in with our clip and we can just pinch it on there, right up close to the top as you can get. So you can see I've got my clips there nice and close to the top, and I've got my edge all nice and flat on that side. Now I'm going to come in with my glue, and all you need to do is just run a nice sort of thickish blob along the top. So I'm giving it a decent squeeze and just running a big old line down the whole entire top of my little notepad. Okay, and all you can do is take your finger and just dab it. Dab it all the way along the top so it's touching every sheet and that back panel. And that is all you're going to do. Just dab. And make sure you get top, front to back. Wipe your finger off on a bit of spare cloth. If you don't have a bulldog clip, just use more of the clips that you've got. I'm just going to go straight over, making sure not to touch the glue. And I'm just going to pinch it at the top. Okay, so now the center is pinched and those are pinched. And I leave this to dry for about 3 hours. It will probably be dry after about an hour. It is a very quick drying glue, this one. If you want to use the Nuvo drops, I would leave them slightly longer, but it's the same thing with the Nuvo drops. Squeeze a nice big line across the top and dab it with your finger. You will just get a bit more texture. This will dry really nice and flat. Any sort of tacky craft glue will dry nice and flat for you. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. Because it's a bulldog clip, you could also just hang it on the wall. If you got a little hook on your wall, you could just hang it and leave it to dry. I just stand mine up in between a couple things on my desk and let it dry like that. Then when you're all done, you can come in and take the clips off. You can peel your scrap bit off and see how amazingly well that worked. Peel it straight off. And how awesome is that? And now I've got this notepad here, which has got alcohol because adulting is hard. I know exactly who this is going to at the end of the year. One of my friends is a teacher and she's going to get this. And you get these gorgeous little notebooks that you can go ahead and write your shopping list on or whatever you want to use it for. However, don't forget, if you've got a personalization stamp, I've got mine here, which is from the British stamp maker in the UK. And I make sure to stamp the back of it so people know that it was handmade by me and where they can find tutorials to make their own little projects. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up, stamp it right on the back. And then I've got my little personalization on the back. I've got a cute little handmade notepad that I can gift to somebody that just took a few minutes while watching TV. So there are my notepads. I've made 6 in total and I will probably make a few more, and they cost pennies to make using recycled materials and 5 sheets of printer paper and stamps in my collection that I wasn't sure what to do with apart from these ones. These ones are so awesome and funny. And just to mention, this one here I did with this stencil. So I used some Distress Oxides. I used the Brutus Monroe circular stencil. I just stuck it on the edge. You can see I didn't even clean this one up. I just used a little blending brush and just went through and blended on a pattern, and I did several different colors. You can see here, if I flip through, I got green, got like a peachy color, pink, oops, blue and purple. So I did 4 of each, and then I came in with a Pretty Gets Gritty stamp, used this little heart one there and just did a heart, so you don't even need a sentiment, you can just leave it as is. Positive Thoughts, Positive Mind came from this same stamp set here. And then I've got Change Your Thoughts and You Can Change the World from this Pretty Gets Gritty set for on the top there. Obviously all the lines and little wiggly bits were all from the first stamp set I shared with you. This one here, you've got all these amazing little patterns of stamps at the bottom, so that's why I used along some of the bottoms and some metallic inks and some not. So I've got a great little set that I can give to these teachers at the end of the year for all their little notes. I hope you enjoyed tonight and I look forward to seeing you next week. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed already, and have a lovely weekend. Bye!